Hit me.
From Studio A in Arcata, behind the redwood curtain, it's time for...
Succotash.
Yes, Succotash, the comedy soundcast featuring snippets from comedy.
Soundcast.
And also interviews with comedian soundcasters, and other showbiz folk. And now, here's this episode's host from up the coast, the man who puts the X in Xbox and the tie on antisocial, comedy soundcaster, Tyson Saner.
Salutone, estes me, Tyson Saner. Welcome to this episode of Succotash that numbers 314. If you are new here, thank you so much for listening. If you listened to last week's episode, number 314, subtitled Let's All Go to the Movies, you no doubt enjoyed the content featured within that episode, which was hosted by Mark Hershon. Mark Hershon, the show creator and original full-time host, created this program to showcase the soundcasts of comedy folks and the like for over 11 years now. And for the last 2+ years, since shortly after the COVID-19 lockdown of 2020, he and I have been alternating weekly hosting duties. So, last week, Mr. Hershon brought you a quartet of clips from the movie-centric soundcast known as But Is It Good?, Forever Movie Boys, Rotten Tomatoes Is Wrong, and They're Just Movies. It was an entertaining episode that you can still find in our archive at www.succotashshow.com, as well as pretty much most places you can find other soundcasts, including, but not limited to, Apple or Google Podcasts, Stitcher, SoundCloud, YouTube, Amazon Music, Audible, Podchaser, and Podbay. This week's episode features clips from the soundcasts Black Aesthetic, Jeremiah Wonders, and Real Life Sci-Fi. And of course, we've got a classic advert from our longtime fake sponsor, Henderson's Pants, for you later in the program. I can't think of a good reason to delay the proceedings any longer, so let's get to the clips while they're still, warm. Sure. First up, Black Aesthetic from Black Humboldt. Its description says, Black Aesthetic, Black voices talking Black life, Black arts, and Black culture, with Queen Dee, Dellar, Loki and KM Ross. Black Humboldt is a volunteer-run organization working to create and sustain safe spaces and representation for Black and Brown community members in Humboldt County, California. BH achieves the goal through hosting exclusive events for Black and Brown identities. The area of interests include arts and culture, exclusive Black spaces, media, current events, BIPOC businesses, Black and Brown representation, Black and Brown empowerment. I've chosen a clip from the 13th of October in 2020, going back a little bit. It's called Gettin' Mental with comedian Joshua Barnes, who has been featured on Succotash before. Its episode description says, The Hub jumps in with DCMC made Humboldt comedian Josh Barnes and talks Black life and Black comedy. I say and because there are in fact 3 ampersands. And then the episode description further goes on to say, Barnes matches his anecdotal wisdom with an, quote, everybody's favorite dad, unquote, charm. He'll have you rolling in your seats with stories and musings of everyday life. Barnes delivers a commanding performance whether he's recounting the times his son shamed him or detailing his beliefs of life's purpose.
Shoot, why don't you introduce yourself to our listeners and just tell them a little bit about what you do as an artist.
Well, I do mostly just like comedy up here. I do comedy between Arcata and also, but I mean, I also travel a lot too, but it's just comedy. I'm a stand-up comic. That's my biggest goal, is to be a bigger stand-up comic.
So you've done a few you do shows locally and I get wherever you can.
Oh yeah. So we do shows regularly. I actually, before everything shut down, I ran 2 regular open mics, which were on Sunday night at Northtown Coffee in Arcata, and then I also ran one on Tuesdays at Big Fish Vape Lounge in Arcata. And then as far as just like the mics went, but I also did a lot of like just local shows and running shows in different areas. We did shows. The last big thing we did was at the basement. We were doing shows locally out the basement, and then also in Arcata, and then also where else? we would do Siren Song occasionally, not so much, obviously. But me and I have a friend, and him and I have started venturing out and doing our own stuff too. But we also did a lot of shows, and I did a lot of shows and run a lot of shows through Savage Henry, and my own personal show called Just Joshin', which is like a talk show that we were trying to gear up and get a lot better. But then again, everything shut down. So but yeah, I do a fair amount of trying to run a fair amount of comedy shows up here.
Man, it sounds like sounds like at least before COVID, you had quite a few projects going on all around town and stuff.
Yeah, I did. I did. Yeah, it was crazy. It was quite busy. And then, like I said, but then everything just came to a screeching halt. So.
Yeah, man. It's pretty bad. Like I know I could have been worse. Like I could have been worse. Like I mean, like it doesn't help. There's a lot of like subtle racism stuff that happens up here. There's times like I don't know. There's not that many black people up here, and there's times where like I go to the gym, and as soon as they see me, they're like, "We got LeBron," and then I'm like, I'm not LeBron, guys. LeBron is 6'8". 250 pounds. I'm 6 foot tall. 250 pounds. So I'm kind of like LeBron when you think about it, like, but. It doesn't help too. Like I also do stuff to live up to like the racism, like the stuff like I'll go to the bathroom, I'll use the small urinal and wait for people to walk in and be like, just got tired of my dick getting wet. Like I say wild shit. Okay. I'm a wild boy. I do some shit.
I want to flash back though to when you first started with comedy.
Okay.
How did you get into comedy? Was it a family thing, or what gravitated you towards that form of artistry?
Well, what happened was I used to actually make music. Like I would used to like rap quite regularly, and then like I had a lot of friends who would tell me I was funny, and they were like, you should actually do comedy. Like this rap stuff's cool and everything, but you should try and do comedy. And I ignored them for quite a bit. And then one day I kind of backed myself into a corner and made a deal with some friends that if like certain situations happened, then I will step up and I will do comedy. And then I fell into a situation where I had to step up and do comedy, and then immediately fell in love, and it was right before I actually moved up here to Humboldt. I had just started doing comedy for about 6 months or so. And then I came up here and started doing it, like again, like quite more, once I got more established. So, but yeah, it was probably about 4 or 5 years ago. I just kind of, got pressured into finally doing it and just realizing it was something that I should have done a long time ago.
So it does say, follow us on all socials at Black Humboldt, which is at capital BLACK, capital HUMBOLDT. I should note that is not a Twitter address. I've looked that up. It is in fact on Instagram. And you can still tag them at Black Humboldt Aesthetic. And that's Black and Humboldt spelled the same way, plus the word aesthetic. These are all capitalized, Black Humboldt and the word aesthetic. And aesthetic is A, or capital A, ESTHETIC. They encourage interaction. There's a bit that says, have thoughts about the episode. You could send your thoughts and questions via email at blackhumboldt, spelled the same as before, at gmail.com. Now, they've got Josh Barnes' Twitter account information as Josh Barnes is Mental, which is capital JOSH, capital BARNESISMENTAL. But I've been following him on Twitter for a while at that, and he seems to be more active on the account Ebony Pegasus X3, or times 3, I suppose. And that is at capital EBONY, capital PEGASUS, X, and the numeral 3. You can also go to joshbarnescomedy.bandcamp.com/releases to find more material. And Black Humboldt has a Patreon. Oh, I made a little note to myself here. It says currently you can go to the website www.blackhumboldt.com and then /new, N-E-W, hyphen page, P-A-G-E, to find details about the Hub, some of the folks who participated in this Soundcast episode, and many other personalities and bits of information associated with them. Yes, lots of information on the people there. Next up, Jeremiah Wonders, ... from Jeremiah Wonders, ... And then its description says, Jeremiah Wonders, ... is a weekly podcast where Jeremiah Watkins interviews guests with some of his favorite original characters and impressions. You never know who's going to call in. I've chosen an episode from May 16th, 2022, fairly recently. It is Jeremiah Wonders episode number 231, featuring Nigel Ung. I've taken a clip of Nigel Ung's contribution to soundcasting with an earlier episode of Succotash that featured a clip from the soundcast known as Rice to Meet You, which he co-hosted with Evelyn Mock. Here's a little segment of the program where they decide to try out accents, wear some wigs, and do a little improvisation.
I had an allergic reaction on stage before, but it's just hives. My throat felt a bit tighter than usual.
Really?
Yeah, but
that was the one that you had on stage was the allergic reaction with the throat a little bit?
Yeah, I could feel it like tightening up.
What was the dish?
Oh, that wasn't worth it. That was in Liverpool. I had just some shrimp fried rice, but I think the shrimp was just not fresh
Try
or something.
our shrimp fried rice, you'll love it here.
What? Here?
You'll love the shrimp fried rice here in Liverpool.
Oh, that's very bad Scouse accent, man.
This is bad?
Yeah.
Liverpool.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
It just sounds like one of the Beatles.
What are you doing, mate? Yeah. I love it when Americans try British accents.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I would love to hear one of your British accents.
Oh, I can't really do it. I do specific lines if I need it in my act.
Okay.
That I learn
to get you into...
to act out.
Right.
1 or 2 lines.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I do like a Glaswegian thing. I dropped it here because nobody gets a Glaswegian accent. I just
Right.
go like, all right, you wee ball bag. Right?
Yeah.
The premise is it's a dumb premise. It's about like how Glaswegian people can't speak English. And I just practice those lines, you know.
Okay.
So I'm practicing a southern one, a southern accent for,
You have a
for one of
southern
my
accent?
jokes. I know it sounds pretty terrible.
Here, I have
Yeah.
an idea.
Okay.
We are going to do an accent workshop
Yes.
with Nigel right now.
Let's try it.
There's a wig underneath that
I
table over
knew
there.
you were going to do this.
Oh, yeah. You know it, man.
Wig!
Okay, you said my British accent is no good. Is this any better?
A little bit, yeah.
It's a lot better, yeah?
Yeah, I think the wig transforms it.
Isn't it?
In it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot better?
Yeah. Pretty
Yeah.
good, bruv. It's pretty good, bruv.
Thanks, bruv.
Yeah.
I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got mad wigs, bruv. What is this thing? You look
Yeah.
peng. Peng, bruv. Peng.
You know, it's been through a bit of muck here and there.
Okay. You can see words even I don't know.
So you're from people tell me you're from Alabama. Is that true?
Alabama. No, I'm from this little town in Asia called Kuala Lumpur. You know where we lost the planes? When the planes went down?
I mean, I read about it, yeah.
Yeah, it's a shit story. Nobody wants to fly Malaysian Airlines anymore.
I mean, it's true. You wouldn't catch me dead on a Malaysian Airlines
Yeah,
flight.
I just get on a Malaysian Airlines flight and I have the whole plane for myself. It's a good time.
And just to clarify, this is your southern accent, yeah.
This is my terrible attempt at a southern accent. This is me trying to be racist towards white people. When I see white people, this is what I do.
I mean,
Because to
honestly-
me, that's how y'all sound like.
Okay, we're getting somewhere
Yeah.
with the yols and stuff like that. Yeah, just add, I would say, do you have any notes for me with my British accent?
No notes, brother.
No notes.
No notes,
Okay,
brother.
what I'll say about
Pretty good.
about the southern one, okay?
Okay.
Try to start adding a little more twang. Do you know what I mean?
Little more twang.
Little bit more.
Little bit more.
Yeah.
Little bit more twang.
Where there's a little bit more going down.
Okay.
Okay, the inflection.
I'll try my best.
There you go.
Oh, it's
It-
getting better?
It's getting better.
Oh, it's getting better, mama. It's good.
There we go.
I don't want to make
We're
it go
gonna-
black all of a sudden. I'm being all sorts of offensive on this podcast today.
Hey, we're doing characters. Everything is A-okay.
Yes.
As long as we're in these wigs and we're doing fun voices, everything is A-okay.
Yeah, you can say the N-word in a wig. Nobody can come get you.
That's what I always say. N-words welcome on Jeremiah Wonders. That's what I always say.
If you have a wig, it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true. I mean, honestly, people just need to start dressing up a little bit more so people know that they're not being serious when they say these bad things. You know what I mean? We're all having a good time here.
Yeah, that's all right with me. If Tucker Carlson had a wig on, he would just be...
He's playing.
Yeah.
He's just having a good time.
He's just being silly.
He's being
just being
silly.
Goofy.
He's just being a little so-and-so. That's what he's
Yeah.
being. He's right with the Lord. He's okay.
Exactly. Pick a wig on, sit on your porch, drink some iced tea. Is that what Southern people do?
I mean, Donald Trump has a wig on. He's just playing around.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. He's not racist at all.
No, he's just having a good old time. That's not his real voice. You think that's his real voice?
No.
There's no way.
He's just putting on a character.
He's putting on a character.
He's the best comic America's ever seen.
I mean, low key. He could pull some arenas.
Yeah, I think so.
He has people show out.
He could call people fat, and people still buy tickets to his show.
It's true. People would actually love it and actually ask him after the show, will you call me fat? Because people like that, you know?
Yeah.
Once you establish yourself in a certain way, people want to see that.
If I call people fat, that's the end of my career.
Really?
Yeah.
How come?
Oh, people think I'm just this nice Asian boy making videos about Asian food. At the moment I make a pedophile joke, they go, why is Uncle Roger talking like this? And they go, this is not what I signed up for.
So it's a very specific kind of thing that they're signed up for.
Sometimes.
So you can find Jeremiah Watkins on Twitter at Jeremiah Standup, that is JeremiahStandup. And you can find Nigel Ung at Mr. Nigel Ung, which is lowercase MRNIGELNG. And a website that's been listed in this description is Jeremiah Watkins, which is WATKINS.TV. Also, there is a YouTube channel that releases video versions of the show, which is also under the name Jeremiah Watkins. And apparently you can also go to jeremiahwonders.com.
Holy Hannah, it is hot out there this summer, friends. Bill Haywatt here with welcome relief from Henderson's Pants so that you can beat the heat in style. I'm talking about their new camo cutoffs, the ragged edge shorts with a touch of desert machismo that's guaranteed to let a little cooling breeze in to where the sun don't shine. These aren't merely cheapo patterned knockoffs we're talking about. Every pair of Henderson's camo cutoffs is repurposed from genuine U.S. Army issue desert camouflage military big boy pants from a shipment that fell off the truck on their way to the Middle East. So some of our boys being out of uniform has turned into your good fortune. Once Henderson's Pants got their mitts on these pants, they called in some paramilitary advisors, gave the entire shipment a thorough blackwater rinse, and started snipping away. Henderson's has donated all of those cut-off pants legs to the Sleeves for the Homeless Foundation, so that you lucky duck, can snap up Henderson's camo cutoffs for a veritable song. Originally designed for the French Foreign Legion, Steamfitters Union Local 23, and Staff Sergeant Daisy Dukes, Henderson's camo cutoffs can be found hanging on cyclone fences around military bases anywhere U.S. servicemen are bivouacked. With an emphasis on the whacked. That's Henderson's, maker of Shorty McShort shorts since 1993. And now, despite all efforts to the contrary, we return you to Succotash.
Thank you, Bill Haywatt. Finally, real-life sci-fi from Starburns Audio. Their description says, we are a comedy podcast, a late-night bar conversation about conspiracies, creatures, and all things paranormal. Should the world be categorized as fiction or non-fiction? One skeptic, one believer, one woman, one guest. I've chosen an episode from very recently, June 20th, 2022, episode 357, called Crop Circles with Fred Stoller. Its description says, some crop circles are man-made. Are all of them? There is some compelling information about some crop circles. Will we get to it? We continue the conversation with Fred Stoller, off topic, and if you want to support us and hear more, go to Patreon. Yes, so what they do is they will continue the conversation not for the live podcast. So they do the live podcast Sundays at 7 p.m. Pacific Time at Schraub Home Video. Here's a clip from the show with a bit of discussion about crop circles, but more specifically M. Night Shyamalan's movie Signs.
Actually, the one thing, one of my regrets is not a big regret. Well, I used to do these jokes. I'm a thrill seeker. I live on the edge. I'm a badass. I drank milk that expired yesterday. I don't care.
Right.
I'll do it again. I left the pen overnight with the cap off. And Sam Kinison got a kick out of that because he actually had a tour with Sam Kinison and the Rebels. But they were rebels. Hey, we do coke all night. We beat up whores, whatever. And they wanted me to tour with them in Vegas. Because it's funny, one rebel comes out after another. Yeah, let's do coke. Let's piss on the floor. I don't know what voice that is. And then bringing me up. I'm a thrill seeker. I said that. But I would have had to have been in Vegas for a month. And I started auditioning. And I mean, I think it would have got old, you know.
Right.
But it would have been a great story. Me and the Kinison Outlaws.
Well,
That's funny.
we do a lot of conspiracy talk, paranormal talk, aliens and whatnot. How into that world are you? Do you digest any of the?
I am the Michael Jordan of not believing in ghosts.
Okay.
I mean, I love this house is haunted. You know, I'm as insanely cynical, but I used to get a kick out of. There was a show. I got a copy of it somewhere online. But do you remember VH1 had? I love things with cheesy celebrities, and they had one where cheesy celebrity. Well, I shouldn't say cheesy. They had Ernie Hudson from Ghostbusters. It was Celebrity Paranormal, where they wear something on their head. You know that thing, go to like, this is the legend of whatever. They make up some nonsense. Some farm where Uncle Jecamy, who owned it, died and, you know, killed 8 horses or something. And they'd have like Gilbert Gottfried, I remember, and people.
I don't remember this at all. What era was this?
Sounds awesome.
I loved it. So, but yes, no, you mentioned crop dusting or
crop circles. Yeah,
that was the one of the M. Night Shyamalan movies I didn't see.
Oh yeah, Signs. Yeah,
was that good?
I thought it was fun.
I thought it was fun. Yeah, I liked it.
No, it's not. It's not good.
It's definitely bad, but it's fun.
It's bad.
I'm not going to say it's bad. I'm going to say I liked it.
She's not going to say it's bad. You know why? Because you're in the... No, I'm just kidding.
I know, right?
No. Let me tell you why. No. There was a brief time. Does anyone remember this? For a while, I guess Siskel and Ebert both died. Do you remember them? Are you too young?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I used to...
And do you remember
They gave great review. I mean, you know...
No, they started that template of... all these sports idiots, dude, you know, they're arguing back and forth and fake arguing. You ever see those sports shows? Like,
yeah, around the horn and stuff.
Yeah, and it's the same thing, like the bravado. I'm the best at this, you know.
I know what's a better movie.
Yeah, and they always they sometimes agree, but they got to pretend they're arguing. LeBron should not do this, but okay. So the Siskel and Ebert died, and one of them died, and they were trying out different until they had permanent people. So for a while, they were having guest people every week, like the late Fred Willard, Kevin Smith, actors who Kevin Smith could, and some movies were garbage, but he wouldn't put down renowned directors they want to work with.
Yeah.
So that was my conspiracy.
The only good M. Night Shyamalan movie to watch, ironically, I think, is
Unbreakable.
The Happening. The Happening is like comically bad. It's Mark. The Happening. Is that right?
No, I'm just like, you're gonna tell people to watch The Happening?
Oh,
or
yeah.
tell them not to watch Signs?
If you want to have fun and rip on a movie, watch The Happening.
It opens with a monologue of Mark Wahlberg talking about bees.
Okay,
you guys gotta do these bees. What's going on with these
You
bees?
guys know why all these bees are dying?
Well, that would be funny, but actually, Quentin Tarantino has been interviewed. His favorite movies from Unbreakable, he said it was marketed wrong. He said it should have been, what would it happen if someone was Superman and they didn't know it? That's what he thought was so brilliant.
Yeah, no, Unbreakable's really good.
Yeah.
But it's also just kind of the first act of a story.
Yes, then it's ridiculous. But it was interesting. I mean, the first one was, classic. I like movies where people die and they're happy that death is their relief. Like Jacob's Ladder. Did you ever see that?
I've never seen it.
It's so crazy.
Well, when I was a kid, people were
Did
like...
you ever see Jacob's Ladder?
Yeah.
It's like, that was...
I saw it when I was too young, so I do need to rewatch it again.
This is what I say. People say, are you a horror fan or a sci-fi fan? I'm not, in that I don't go see any horror sci-fi, but I love movies that transcend the genre.
Yeah.
Okay, now for the credits portion. So the show can be found on Twitter at Real Life Sci-Fi, capital REAL, capital LIFE, capital SCI, capital FI, and then the numeral 1. Guest Fred Stoller can be reached at Fred_Stoller, that is capital FRED _ capital STOLLER. I managed to track down information on the hosts, Wade, Willie, and Aaron. So Wayne Randolph can be found on Twitter at Wade Randolph, that is lowercase WADERANDOLPH. Willie Roberts can be reached at Robotic Willie, all lowercase ROBOTICWILLY. And I tracked down Erin Pierce, her Instagram account, which you can reach at EB Pierce, and that is all lowercase EBPEARCE. So the show has gone through a little bit of personnel adjustment very recently. Managed to find out through a posting on Erin Pierce's Instagram page. This is directly from it. It says, in case you didn't know, I'm retiring from co-hosting the Channel 101 Patreon podcast to join two of my favorite people in their quest to answer all of the mysteries of the universe. Willie and Wade have had me on Real Life Sci-Fi in the past as a guest, and after holding the things they love hostage, they've agreed to become the third leg on this tripod. See, the way it's written here, they're referring to themselves as me and they at the same time. They've agreed? Yeah. But you get the idea. So, pretty cool. So the show was also known as Real Life Sci-Fi with Wade and Willie, which I needed to do a little more digging than usual to find. This earlier incarnation of the program had nearly exactly the same show description minus the word one woman aspect of it. So, and the podcast website can be found over at starburns.audio/podcast/real-life-sci, again that's SCI, and then -fi, that is FI, -WITH with -WADE, Wade -WILLY /. I'm starting to wonder if I shouldn't go to all the effort of saying these web addresses and just saying that you can find the web address at our description over at succotashshow.com, because that's generally where they end up, but I do like to put them here in case somebody's sitting there with a pad and pencil deciding to write it down. People still use pads and pencils, don't they? And that pretty much brings us to the end of the episode for this week. I've only got my wrap-up left to do here, which will include some light begging of you to rate and review us if you like what you heard. It really helps us out. Helps, quote, keep the lights on, unquote, so to speak. Sometimes it is difficult to believe that it has been 11 years since this show started. And within that time, the format known as the podcast has experienced a huge surge in growth and perhaps a stagnation, a decline, a resurgence. You know, I don't really know if the last bits of that are true. I just know that online, podcasts are ubiquitous. Can't throw the proverbial digital stone without hitting one. And offline, seems like they're still kind of lesser known than most other forms of media. Maybe that's not true, and I need to talk to more people. At any rate, this podcast, or soundcast, as this soundcast refers to podcasts as, has the role of introducing other soundcasts to people who are technically already somewhat aware of their existence. You know what? We've been over this. I hope something that you heard in the program inspires you to listen more, or at the very least has been entertaining. Thank you for listening. Be decent to each other. Tune in next week for Epi314, hosted by Mark Hershon, and in the meantime, if someone asks you if you have heard anything interesting lately, or you'd like to proactively tell people about what you are listening to and it has been us, won't you please Pass the Succotash.
You've been listening to Succotash, the comedy soundcast, with your host, Tyson Sainer. Brought to you by Henderson's Pants and...
Imagine your company's name right here.
Rate us and review us at Apple and Google Podcasts. Find us on the web at succotashshow.com, on Stitcher, on iHeartRadio, on YouTube,
on SoundCloud,
and wherever
fine soundcasts are streamed and or downloaded.
Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Succotash Show. Like us on Facebook. Email us at tyson@succotashshow.com or call into the Succotash Skype line at our toll call number 818-921-7212.
That number again is 818-921-7212.
You can also upload clips from your favorite comedy soundcasts directly to us using our direct upload link at hightail.com/you/succotash. Succotash is produced and engineered by Joe Paulino through the auspices of Studio P Sausalito, the home of the hit. Our hosts are Mark Hershon and Tyson Sainer. Our musical director is
Scott Carvey.
Our booth assistant is
Kenny Durges.
Succotash is executive produced by Mark Hershon. Until next time, I'm your loyal booth announcer, Bill Haywatt, reminding you to please pass the Succotash. Goodbye. This has been a Succotash Patch production.